Welcome to Create Your Own Online TV Show Part 12. In this episode we'll be looking at all of the apps that you can use inside a Hangout. Now if the apps are not showing, if you take the mouse and come over to the left you can see them showing there. We'll start with the first one, which is the Chat app. When you select it, on the right hand side the pane appears. And this is really useful for people inside the Hangout to communicate to each other. Check the sound level on your mic, John. Very useful. No one outside will see this, but it's really a useful way of communicating internally with people inside the Hangout. The next app we're going to look at is the Share Screen, this green arrow. And this enables you to share whatever is on your screen. As I mentioned earlier, it's really useful to have dual monitors so you can keep the Hangout running on one screen and the other screen can be showing various different things. So I'm going to select screen 2 and share, and I'm currently running my website on that screen. But it could be a PDF file, it could be a presentation, it could even be a video, all kinds of options. So you can use the option at the top there to present to everybody. When you select that, it makes the screen fuller, so full screen, and the actual Hangout strip disappears when you use the present to everyone. So I'm going to take the screen share off now and come back. The next one is the Showcase app and the Q&A app, but we'll be taking a look at that in a separate episode. Now you've got the capture, the camera capture. I don't very often use this, but you can select it and just literally take a picture of all of the participants who are actually in the Hangout. And when you've finished with that app, don't forget to select it to take it off again, because otherwise you won't be able to stop the broadcast because it covers that area of the screen. Now we've got the Cameraman app, very, very useful. And this will enable you to do the settings of the broadcast, to change those. So as guests join, you might want it set up so that their audio and video is initially hidden from the broadcast. You have got broadcast just the large video that I see and hide the other video feeds. Lots of people do that. You've got the option here of new guests when they join in large groups are muted, which could be quite useful. So that's the Cameraman app. Now there are going to be some other apps that we will look at, and we'll come on and look at those in due course. Now let's take a look at my favourite Hangout app, the Hangout Toolbox. Select it. The pane appears on the right hand side. The first option, first tab, enables you to create your own lower thirds and custom overlays and have some saved presets too. Let's start off with a custom overlay. I'm currently using a custom overlay on the screen. Click the on off button. There you can see me inside the Hangout. To add a different custom overlay, click the red button. Go and browse for your image. I'm going to show you a transparent image and how that works. Select it and open, and you probably will need to use the on off button again to make sure it's showing. So the background is transparent and my logo is showing in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And there's so many things you can do with transparent overlays. Let's take a look at lower third now. You can add your name, you can add your company, website, tagline. You can choose a logo, go and browse for an image, select it. You can choose a colour to match from the colour palette. And when you're happy with that, you'll need to select the on-off button again to make sure it's visible. And if you have a problem with your lower third being a mirror image, look at the little button to the left hand side, select that and just make sure that it's showing in the correct view for you. So toggle that on and off if you've got a problem with it. When you're happy, you can save this preset, give it a name, hit the save button, and then you can go back and forth from one preset to another. And you can have lots of them set up in advance. And when you're happy with the lower third, you can come over and take a look at the other options there. You've got the speaker icon, which will adjust volume, but there's a better place to do that. I'll show you that later. This is the comment tracker, but again, we use the comment tracker app, and I'll show you that in another episode. Settings, very useful. You can upload your lower thirds automatically and even enable auto upload for your custom overlays. So I've got those set to on because I find those very, very useful. So that's the Hangout toolbox. So I'm just going to put the custom overlay back on before we proceed to the next part of the training. And once we've got that in place, then we can move on to see what else is available inside the Hangout. So over on the left hand side, let's come over and take a look at the control room. So if you've got lots of people inside the Hangout and you want to adjust the volume, you can do that here. You can adjust people's audio and video. You can turn them both off if necessary. And as the Hangout producer, you might want to do this because somebody's sound could be interrupting the whole Hangout. So that's where you control all of those settings from the Control Room app, which I would thoroughly recommend you experiment with. You've got Google Effects. The three little dots will take you to other apps that are not visible. Comment Tracker, we'll talk about that next time. You can show YouTube videos, not necessarily recommended if it's a live broadcast, unless they're your YouTube videos because of copyright. And you can add more apps, and as Hangouts progress, I'm sure more apps will be available to us. So those are all the apps inside the Hangout. Let's take a look at what else we haven't seen yet. At the top in the centre, you can see all of these apps that are quite useful. You've got the button to invite people to join you. I showed you that earlier. If I wanted to, for example, mute my microphone, I could do that there. If I wanted to turn my video camera off, I could do so. I could adjust the bandwidth usage. So if I'm in an area where there's poor internet connection, I might want to take the video down to not high definition, but to medium quality, so that I don't lose any of the sound of the Hangout. So you can adjust that if you're in an area where the internet is not too good. The other option is coming over to the settings cog. This is great because this enables you to pick the camera that you want to use inside the Hangout, to pick the microphone you want to use, particularly if you've got lots of them set up, and you can also choose what speakers you're using. You can test the sound and save all the settings when you're happy with them. At the moment, the Hangout, as you can see, is off air. When it's live, that will be showing as live. You have got the camera settings. I've currently got mine set to smooth. There's all kinds of different other options for you to experiment with, but smooth is definitely my favourite. Irons out all of the wrinkles. And lower down you can see the start stop broadcast button, and over on the left the number of viewers when it's live will be showing there. And then of course you've got the links to share that I showed you earlier on.